The sixth question, we'll start with Kirsten Keith. Today's paper reports that Caltrain is still in trouble and may cut its service. What ideas do you have to shore up Caltrain's finances?
Thank you for that question about Caltrain, which is so important for all of us. I think that we should consider and keep trying to pursue the early investment to electrify Caltrain. And I hope that that is something that can occur, and I've said that for many months now. It's important that we have Caltrain. For those of us who don't ride it, it's important because it keeps people on the train and off the roads. I mean, if you want to make an argument that if you don't ride it, it's not important to you, it is. It's important to all of us. It creates so much congestion on our roads if we lose Caltrain. So I think we need to continue pursuing early investment. We could also look at getting a dedicated source of funding for Caltrain. I sit on a working group with Supervisor Tissier to look at ways to find ways to fund Caltrain. And, we could have a gas tax. There are all sorts of ideas, gas taxes, hot lanes, looking at agencies that use the roads, truckers. I mean, there are many ideas that are being floated in this group, and I know some people in the audience are in this group as well. So we're actively trying to figure out if we should have a ballot measure for 3 counties, San Mateo, Santa Clara, and San Francisco. There's been polling that's been done showing that it was popular to do probably in our county, but maybe not necessarily in the other 2 counties. So we all have to take responsibility for Caltrain and continue to working collaboratively to reach some sort of funding mechanism. The Silicon Valley Leadership Group is also heavily involved in this project.
Andy Cohen.
As a member of the CCAG Legislative Committee for the past several years, we have received reports about where the Joint Powers Authority is in running Caltrain. We know from the news reports that there have been many bad reports of closing down service or inadequate funding, and only a week or 2 later, a reversal of position and saying they are able to keep going. We keep hearing about these shortages, the need to cut services. I think what needs to happen is the JPA needs to be re-examined, reorganized, and I have asked for that, but nothing has happened yet. My feeling is that public transportation is absolutely essential in our county. We need to make sure that Caltrain keeps functioning. One way to do that is to have a dedicated source of revenue, but there's no guarantee that sitting here tonight, anybody can give you the answer to that. We can tell you we would work towards something, and I believe in working collaboratively.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I mean, there are ideas, as Kirsten outlined, for developing a dedicated source of funding for Caltrain. And if we believe in public transportation and the importance of having a transportation system, then we need to figure out how we're going to make sure that that continues to happen. I think the good news that we saw in that report today is that ridership is up, that fare box revenues are up, and so we're seeing a positive trend in how Caltrain is operating. It's not the problem is not solved, certainly, or we wouldn't have had a front page article on it. But I think we're moving in the right direction. I will say that I live about 2 blocks from Caltrain, and so I would like to see the tracks electrified. I'd like to see the service upgraded. I'd like to see more frequent service so that when we're running all up and down the county, as we all are right now, we can use Caltrain more effectively and not have to get into our cars all the time. I'd like to see also some better connections with the buses. Again, that's all going to take a creative and collaborative approach and finding a source of revenue for operating that system.
Warren Slocum.
Thank you. If I don't use my entire time, can I reserve the balance for another question? No, just kidding. I think that Mayor Keith has the answer, and I think Andy also has part of the answer, which is to say none of us can really give you a definitive answer here tonight, but I think the mayor's, what she described and the collaboration that's going on with Supervisor Tissier and others is probably the best we could hope for at this point in time. It's through that collaboration that solutions can come. Obviously, Caltrain is very, very important. And having worked on a number of mass transit issues in the past, in my younger days, I just don't believe there's any single one magic answer to the issue. It's a complex problem. And here again, I think that collaborative approach is the best. So thank you.
Mr. Schmidt.
So, though I would agree with the collaborative approach, I think Caltrain needs to promote itself better and incentivize people to start taking Caltrains more and make it more convenient. You get that going. People are just going to continue. I mean, I like the fact that the ridership is going up, but it's not enough. It needs to go up more. And I think as we see more housing go up along the transit corridor, they're going to have to figure out ways to get those people, instead of going into their vehicles, getting onto mass transportation and getting off to work that way. But I think the big three things is promoting, incentivizing it, and making it more convenient for riders to actually want to take mass transit.
Memo Morantes.
Okay, would you like me to repeat all of the above? One of the issues that we keep talking about is dedicated funding, and this is another one of those issues where we do need dedicated funding for transportation. But all of the cities in San Mateo County need to be part of it and contribute. We are a great county when it comes to innovation. Yesterday I was at the opening of the service in Redwood City for the SIP cars, where you get out of the train and rent a little car and go to work or do your shopping. And those are the kind of things that we do continue to do, but they're only Band-Aids. They're not permanent fix for what we need. The fare box is about, right now it's up to about between 22 and 23%. Well, most countries that have public transportation is subsidized somewhere between 60 and 70%. So we're not that far off from that, but we need to be having a dependable service, dependable transportation. Also, we are unique because all of the main transportation is up on El Camino and on the trains. What do we do when we get out of there? Is we don't have buses that take you to Sequoia Hospital or to Kenyatta College. So we need to look at the whole net of transportation. Thank you.
Carlos Romero.
So actually, the number is closer to 42% in terms of fare box recovery on Caltrain, and I actually would love to see how many people in this room actually have taken Caltrain in the last week, right? So I think what do we need to do? Number one, we need to incentivize people to use public transit. And one, how do we get there? Potentially by road pricing mechanisms. All right, we have to understand how that works. We have to understand where that money might go. But if you can price it correctly, utilizing our roads, we may get people off the roads. Number two, let's apply transportation demand management policies. That is, where every new firm that you bring into your city is required to reduce the number of car trips. And one of the ways to do it, as Stanford did, certainly as we hope that Facebook is going to do, is by getting people to use the trains and the buses. Number three, let's make sure we have much better east-west connections. Because yes, we have an incredibly strong spine, which is that El Camino Real, as well as the Caltrain spine, but if we can't get people there efficiently and effectively, we have a system that's broken. And one of the ways we can do that is by utilizing the shuttles that we presently have that are somewhat uncoordinated. We're getting better, but let's make sure they're better. Number two, let's be a little more bike-friendly. And we're pretty darn bike-friendly, by the way. But let's figure out how we can actually have rental bikes at the stations themselves. So there are plenty of creative ways to do this, right? A dedicated source is important, absolutely. But let's think creatively. Thank you.
Thank you.